kind of had a lot of time on my hands, so I started working in the business, and before I knew it, I loved it. I mean, I woke up every morning happy, couldn't wait to go to work. It was just really exciting and fun for me, and it didn't feel like work. I really enjoyed being there, and I enjoyed every aspect of it, from creating new products to meeting different people to, getting it more organized and whatnot. And
So by the time you joined the company, the family business, however unofficially as you were killing time, how big was how many branches did Mulmul have?
So by that time, there were about 3 or 4 shops.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was this like a properly structured company with all the different departments laid out, and you had a proper role with your mother, all of that? How did that work?
No, our role was pretty much do anything and everything. You just had to fit where you were needed, because I think with the business, it kind of just grew organically. There wasn't anything established. We didn't have anything in writing. It just kind of happened and it grew.
Okay.
So that was actually one of the challenges, right? Because we really had to get organized. We needed to come up with a structure that was going to work with us and pretty much work our way backwards.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're part of the family, but you're also working in the same space.
Yeah.
I know you're a very close relationship with your mother. How did you navigate that relationship, both with being a daughter, being a coworker, and now leading at least, I'm sure, a few hundred people by that point?
Yeah, I think I always say I'm very fortunate because my mother and I are best friends. We've been best friends since I was a kid. I remember skipping PE to have breakfast with her.
Really?
So that's how close we were. We always had a very tight relationship. So coming into the business, she was really my mentor, because I didn't know how to do things. So I really looked up to her. But I also realized that it was important to come into my own. After a few years, you realize, okay, you have your own style, you have your own way of doing, and at some point, you can be your best self when you're true to yourself and you do things your way. So we had to have a number of conversations, of course. It's never easy, but we came to an understanding, and to me, for her to trust me as much as she did, because like I said, this is her baby, she's worked on this for years, means a lot to me, and it shows how much she trusts me, which makes me want to do more, makes me want to really grow the business and get it to the next level.
Yeah. But you had a different degree. You come from a sociology background. You've never even, besides enjoying the delicious bread and the baked goods, you just threw yourself in and figured it out along with your mother.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Right. So how much time do you spend there now?
Before, I used to spend, in the beginning, because I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I was just there to help, to kill time. And then I loved it, so I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning. Really, I couldn't wait. I would just go home, think about it. What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to change? How am I going to change it? So there was a sense of excitement. But, as years go on, you become more, you kind of calm down a bit. You're more rational. So I do spend a lot of time there.
But not just... So you joined, and how many years pass as you're super excited about this business and going on?
I think the first 2 years.
3 years?
2 years.
2 years.
I would say the first 2 years, because I was still new, I was still learning. So it was a really exciting time for me.
Okay.
And there was a lot of room for change. And
so what are some of the core things that you changed?
Well, we started new products. Okay. When I first came in, we only had bread and cookies, and then, we expanded into, we started the baklavas, we started breakfast items like the brioche and the Danish. And that was exciting because, you get to sample a lot of good stuff.
Gym membership go through the roof.
That was part of my negotiation. A job and a gym membership. You have to when you work in a bakery.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at some point, you take a break from the family business after 2-3 years?
Yes. About 3 years or so later, I got to the point where I said, okay, everything happened really fast. This is not something I had intended to do. So I needed to really just sit back and analyze and really ask myself, is this what I want to do? Or am I giving up on something else that I'm passionate about? So I wanted to take some time because, these are life decisions. This is a commitment. So I moved to the States. I stayed there, started grad school, and I stayed there for a good while, a little less than a year. And
you were able to walk away.
But it was so hard. Every time I walk into a cafe, I think about, we should do this at Mulmul. Every time I see table or new products, was always in the back of my mind. And I think that was one of those things. I realized that I was passionate about it. It's something I enjoy doing, and it kind of becomes part of who you are at some point. So when I came back knowing this is what I wanted to do.
You were sure at that point?
I was 100% sure.
What did you end up studying for grad school?
Business management.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're coming closer to the actuality.
Right, and it's interesting too because, when I do my reading or writing, I kind of see it happening at work. So it's been really interesting, and I think I made the right decision with that as well.
Of coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're highly networked and so forth, and there are various opportunities, right? So you have a hands-on experience working in a business, you now have your business degree. Were there not other opportunities that you wanted to pursue and make your own?
Well, definitely, and that was also part of the challenge, of course. So I do have a real estate business as well.
And did you start that during that break?
Yes, during that break. And, again, that's something that I enjoyed because I really love design and I love creating different things. It's the same thing. It's creating a new product with bread, whereas you're creating a new layout for an apartment design,
I don't know
for
about
example.
that. I don't know if I can say that about real estate in Ethiopia.
It's difficult.
Yes.
It really is. But you kind of also enjoy watching it come to life.
Okay.
And I think that's why Mulmul is rewarding for me when we create something and you watch it come to life and you see it in your shops being sold. So it's similar concepts, but of course it's challenging because you have to be just as dedicated when you have new opportunities. But one thing I learned is sometimes it's okay to say no if you don't have the time. But at the same time, when there are new opportunities, it's just, it's only till you get past that hurdle. Okay. It's all about delegating and just being involved in it so it doesn't feel like work.
Is that what people call passion?
I guess.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you come back and you have a conversation with your mother, right? As far as the role you're not going to play into the business. Tell us a little bit about that.
So by the time I came back, I already had my other business.
Yeah.
So I couldn't fully be there 100%, but I was very fortunate because we moved our office so I can be closer to the real estate that we are developing. So we had to make some changes, and she was part of those changes, which shows just how much she supported me. Okay. There were times when I wanted to give up, and I've had conversations with her where I said, okay, I can't manage two businesses, but her being a businesswoman for so many years, I get solid advice from her, and it's just like I've been there for Mulmul. She's been there with my real estate business too. She helps me with everything, with layouts, with most of my meetings she'll sometimes attend. So we kind of support each other.
Okay, you're tag teaming both businesses.
Absolutely.
Right. So at which point do you become the general manager of Mulmul?
So I've been the general manager for about 6 years, a year after I came.
A year after you came.
Yeah. But of course, I had to work my way up. I started working as a salesperson, as a cashier, as a head cashier.
You started the whole thing?
I did,
wow.
Because I feel like you have to know how to do things. You can't just be a general manager without understanding the business. And for me, I wanted to understand it inside out.
Okay.
That meant, I had to be out there and sell bread and sort of work on customer service and then work on our cash register machines, do some catering, go to parties, birthday parties.
You're the person serving.
I've done that a number of times, and I love it too. But that way I got to understand Mulmul for what it really was.
Okay.
And I felt confident finally when, I became the GM.
Mulmul has how many branches right now?
Right now we have 11, and we're opening 2 more in the next couple of weeks.
Wow,
yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
What has,
Oh, thank you.
What was the how did you go there? Because it was 3 when you came, right? 3
Yeah.
or 4. And then what was that journey of getting to 11? And you
Well,
guys own each one, right?
yes, we own each one. We're hoping that in the next couple of years we'll start franchising. But for now, we own each of them because we want to really control the quality. That's something that we don't want to compromise on. But it was gradually, every year maybe 2 shops, 3 shops. But of course, within the last 2 years, we've aggressively expanded.
Okay. And look, from the outside in, your mom set up the business. I can walk into somebody else's business and call it my own. Like, is it easy? Is it hard? How do you carry that legacy?
I mean, absolutely. I always say that too. I only came into the picture 6 years ago, and I was very fortunate because I came into an established business. Now, if it wasn't already established and if I had to do it myself and would I do it, I don't know. But I was very fortunate. The thing about our business is it's always evolving. It's always growing. So you have to introduce new products and you have to open more branches. You have to work on the customer service. And of course, with us, the most important thing is being our own competitor. We're always looking at where we are today. So 6 months from now.
You're not threatened by the different cafes that pop up every other day?
Not at all.
Really?
I don't, it's not even something I want to think about. I say, if we are our own competitors, then we'll always be confident.
Yeah.
And it's also honesty and integrity and all those things, right? With our products, I know the kind of raw materials we use. We use the best of everything. So when people come to our shops, they can be confident that they're actually buying something that is healthy for them.
Okay.
Whether it is the oil, the butter, the cheese, whatever it is that we use, we try to get the best possible ingredients.
But that gets expensive.
Absolutely. It's expensive, but it's not something we're willing to compromise on.
Okay.
There are times when we've discontinued products because we can't find the right ingredient, and it's not something we want to compromise on.
Do not get mad when you hear yallam.
I know. Seriously. That's a good point to make.
Yeah.
But so we're our own competitors, so we always try to be better. And of course, when you're expanding, things can be a bit difficult, but we try to manage it.
How many staff do you have?
We have over 450 at this point. Yeah.
I have 15 and I have nightmares.
Tell me about it.
Would you say that's the hardest part, managing the humans behind it?
Well, of course. That is difficult. But, at the same time, we're very fortunate because we have people that have been with us for 20 years.
No way.
Since we opened our doors, 19 years, 18 years and whatnot. So, like I said, it started as a small business. So most of them are still here with us, and that helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have gone through an amazing expansion recently. Say a little more on that.
Yes, so we have been expanding. Again, it's not easy, it's difficult, because you have to find the right location and you have to work on the interior. You have to hire staff, you have to do the training and whatnot, and these things we do ourselves, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
whenever we find a location, it's either myself or my mother that find it. So it's a process. But, with the expansion, we've also been getting positive feedback because, there are people that love our products, but sometimes it's not around their neighborhood.
So you're the general manager. What is the role of your mom? What is she doing?
So with Mulmul, we have 2 separate companies.
Okay.
We have a production facility, and then where we produce the cookies, all the non-bread items.
Okay.
And all that company does is produce. And then we have Mulmul, where we produce our own bread, and we have the retail shops, and everything else we get from that company.
Okay.
So that's one of the changes we had to make with the expansion. So my mother runs the production center, and I run Mulmul.
Oh, so she runs the factory.
Yes, and she's still my boss. So I still have to answer to her.
Okay. So I know you've talked a little bit about it. What fulfills you about the work you do at Mulmul? Because you still have your real estate business,
Yeah.
which I still think you're crazy. But what about Mulmul keeps you there every day, and what fulfills you? Because 6 years is is quite a number of years to be with a business.
It absolutely is. But I think it kind of takes us back to the first question or the second question you asked me, where I needed to go back and really reflect on which direction I want to take in my life. And I studied sociology. I wanted to work for an international organization because I've been, passionate about, I know we all say it, making a difference, but, to me, education is important, giving back to community is important, and all these things. And with Mulmul, it enables me to do that.
How?
Because every time we open a shop, for example, that shop will support an NGO.
In that neighborhood?
In that neighborhood.
Okay.
So we work with one that works with cancer, autism, after-school program. Since we have 11 shops, 11 different NGOs. And another thing we do is we try to find, older people that usually beg on the streets. And so we register them, and every first of the month, they can come to a shop nearby, and then we pay them what they would have gotten, had they been begging on the street. So
Wow.
we kind of get to give back that way. Thank you.
And for those of you who run businesses, this is an out-of-pocket expense because the
Yeah.
government does not recognize these kind of
Yeah.
kickbacks.
That's very true.
I think we have Ministry of Finance in the room. Wink, wink. Okay. What keeps you up at night?
That's a tough question. With the real estate or Mulmul?
Your
With
pick.
the real estate, it's the layout. I think in general is I always feel like we can be better, we can do more, and that's what it is. How do I become better? How do we do more? Just even with Mulmul, how do we become better? I
That's
think
crazy
it's that
because
question.
we look at Mulmul and we're like, they got it made. They figured it out.
Oh no, I think we're only 20% there. I think we have a
Really?
long way to go, yeah. Because the vision I have for it, and the vision that I think, my mother and I share is we really, it's all about quality and, I want people to walk in there and find something regardless of their age. Which is why we really work on products, for example, where we have something for kids, but we also have sugar-free and different products depending on what one person wants. So I still feel like we have a long way to go with it.
Well, I think you're on the right path already, so
Thank you very
we wish you the best of
much.
luck. You are in a position of leadership, right? And I'm sure you don't wear these beautiful heels on a daily basis as you walk around.
I wish. They're
saying-
happy to be out today.
What have you identified, because you're still young, have you identified your leadership style?
I think it's been evolving.
Okay.
Because with me, I had to learn these things. I didn't go to school for it. I studied sociology. So, it's been evolving. I see myself changing as well. If you ask me what kind of style I had in the beginning versus the style I have now, completely different.
Yeah.
So, I guess
You're
I'm
still
still
in.
trying to get into it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's so many books about leadership out there now. All right, fill in the blank. Being vulnerable is what for you?
Being vulnerable. That's a tough one.
Come on, play with me.
That's
All
a really hard one. Ooh. For me, I think being vulnerable would be being Nadia at work. I kind of noticed that I have two different personalities, the person that I am with my friends versus who I am at work. Because when I'm on work mode, I'm a completely different person. So I think being vulnerable would be truly showing who I am to people that walk into my office or, people that I work with.
Okay,
That's a very honest answer.
I'll take it.